Hi friends, Monday morning, April 27th. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our reading concepts. We started talking about going on a reading adventure, and the first thing we discussed was taking a sneak peek. And I showed you what a sneak peek looked like when it was a fiction book, and we kind of talked about what a sneak peek would look like if it was a nonfiction book. And the two books that I showed you, the first book, the fiction book, was Iris and Walter. And we took that sneak peek and we looked at the cover, we looked at the back, we looked at some things inside, we talked about the characters that we thought we were going to see, where we thought they were going to go. And we know as we go through the story, we keep checking in and we keep looking at where they are, what's happening, and keeping track of those details. The nonfiction book that I showed you was Sharks. And we talked about taking a sneak peek here and looking at the front and looking at the back and looking at that table of contents and the different nonfiction features about what we might be learning in the book. Okay, so the next step, talking about our reading adventure, is going to be talking about this word predict. And I was thinking about things that happen at home. I'm going to give you an example. So Saturday night, my boys put their PJs on, they brushed their teeth, I read them a story. What do you think happened next? You're right, they went to bed. So what you just did is what readers do as they read. You took all the information in. I said they put their PJs on, they brushed their teeth, I read them a story. Naturally, what comes next? They go to bed. You're making a prediction about what probably is coming next, about things that you already know, right? Using the knowledge that you already have. As I'm reading a book, I do the same thing. I think about the things I already know, and then I think about the things that might be going to happen next. I make a prediction. I might predict about what might happen next, or if it's a nonfiction book, I might make a prediction about the learning, about what I might be learning, right? The two books I picked out this time, I found this one on my shelf at home. It's just a green garden, and I'm sure you've seen these books before. And then the nonfiction book that I picked out is a book about a mammal, about orangutan. Okay, so let's take a look at the green garden. And in the example that they give for the fiction book, they say, you don't want to just ride along with the character. You want to try to see what might happen next in the book. And that gets me excited about it, that gets me thinking about it, and I might get some information. So the way this book starts out, it's time to plant my garden. So mom or dad say it's time to plant my garden. So if you were getting ready to plant a garden, what would you do? We go to the garden store. It has everything we need. So who made that guess? Who predicted that? I want a green garden. I find many seeds to plant. Mom says we will buy some seeds. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen next? Dad says we will also buy some baby plants. They are very little. They all look the same. So he's trying to decide what plants that they should buy. Dad rents a plow from Mr. Pinky. We go home to plant my green garden. All right, does anybody want to take a guess? What do you think the first step's going to be here? Who guessed plowing first? Dad plows the garden. We pick up stones and clumps of grass. This is not fun. All right, what do we think's next? Who said plant the seeds? We plant the seeds and the baby plants. I am tired. I need cool water. We are finished. I say, now we can rest. Dad says, what do you think? I think some of you guessed it. We must water each plant. We take turns. Every day, we weed, water, and wait. We weed, water, and wait some more. We wait a lot. Dad takes pictures. At school, I learn more about gardening. We make a compost heap full of old leaves and stuff. It makes a good garden dirt. We buy worms to put in my garden. We buy good bugs and that eat the bad bugs. Never heard of that before. Deer come and eat some of my garden. Blue wants to protect it. Who do you think Blue is? You're right, the dog. Finally, I have a green garden. I have a yellow and orange and red garden too. We have a great dinner, all from my green garden. Now, how many of you were able to make some of those predictions there? Very good. And you see how it gets you excited, and you keep track of the details as you're reading. Now, you can also predict when it comes down, believe it or not, to a nonfiction book. If I pick up this book to read about orangutans, I'm pretty sure that I might read, what do you think? Maybe where they're from, what they like to eat, how they get around, how do they live? Do they live in groups? Do they live by themselves? I can pretty much make some predictions about some of the things I might learn about. Okay, and I'm pretty sure it's probably going to start this way. What is an orangutan, right? And it tells us right away an orangutan is a mammal, right? And that it belongs to a group of mammals known as apes. Okay, the next section, anybody guess it? You're right. What does it look like? And it's funny, we're going to be doing some animal reports, and that's going to be our first topic too, is first of all, what's the animal, and then what does the animal look like? That's a really good place to start. Okay, anybody have a guess on what we might, what might also be in this book? And you're right, it's where they live. Pretty much guaranteed you're going to know what kind of animal it is, how does it live, where does it live, right? Anything else you would think they probably would tell us about? Okay, what orangutans do, what they like to eat, what they drink, right? How do they move around? How do they live? Do they live alone? Do they live in groups? And then last, some more interesting facts. In most nonfiction books, we can still do this. We can still make predictions about what we're going to be learning. It keeps our reading on track, and it keeps that adventure, keeps us interested in what we're doing. Okay, so this is our second piece. Our first piece was that sneak peek. And our second piece right now is making a prediction. I'm predicting what's coming next. Keeps me engaged, keeps me thinking about the reading. Okay? And you'll be doing that in your reading assignment today. Have a good day, boys and girls.